You want to play Blue Eyes, huh? You want to special summon Blue Eyes White Dragon. You want to do a Blue Eyes White Dragon attack. That's what you want to do, huh? Well, this is the video for you. I want to talk about Blue Eyes, the effect it has on the meta, and how good Blue Eyes is. Now let me sit better for this video. So, first things first, I think Blue Eyes is a good deck. I think it has a lot of good strengths. It's, as people say, you probably heard it before, where its floor is really high, right? So if you get hand trapped, you still could end on a decent board. You could play through multiple hand traps, and it's a very solid deck, especially with the Primite cards. Now, if you could afford the Primite cards and you have that Primite cards, great. I think they're a great addition. I think you definitely play them if you have them, right? Now, I think there's not a big difference between the non-Primite build and the Primite build. Now, I know people are going to take this out of context and say there's no way, like the Primite cards are too broken, and I agree with you. However, they do come with a brick, and they do contribute to weird hands. Now, this is something that I really want to talk about because look, Blue Eyes is not better than Ryziel, and it's not better than Malice. It's not better than Fiendsmith cards. It's really not. The deck itself plays too many weird cards. You have, I think, like a solid 6 cards that you don't want to see, that you don't even want to open up together. Like, these are cards that you just straight up just don't want to see. And of course of a long tournament, or even a regular tournament, like a locals, you're gonna have hands where you see those cards. And especially if you play like an 8-round, 9-round, 10-round regional, 10-round event, you will see those cards a lot, and variants will catch up to you. Now, I think the end board that people make, the super ultra one card spreadsheet combo, if it's on the spreadsheet, don't do it. If you're gonna go into 3 Spirit Dragons and tag out and do that, it's not worth it. You play into your deck's strength, which is doing less is more. I think that's what's so good about this deck, right? So once you start extending and doing all these things and you start losing to Nibiru, you start losing to, the blowout cards your opponent has, then it can be kind of tough, right? So in my opinion, I think it's better to play the deck as a control deck, of course, not a super crazy combo deck. That frees up a lot of room in the extra deck, lets you play a lot of versatile cards in the extra deck. For example, Shen Shen, the card that people probably forgot about, but used to be one of the best cards of the format. So you could play Virtual World Shen Shen, and you could end on it. You could end on a floodgate against a really good deck, against a deck that Macrocosmos hits. That's just one example, but I want to say, I think the Bestial approach is probably the best way to go about it. In my opinion, like, Bestials are good in just the format. They're good engine cards, they're good extenders, right? If you get hand trapped on your normal summon, or your Link 1, you could extend with a Bestial and then proceed into making spheres, right? So Bestials could be disruption as well as be extenders, which is really, really powerful. Now, the one thing I want to talk about, and I have my cards right here, is what you could end up playing is a Tum. So you could play a Tum, and with your Bestials, by opening up a handful of non-engine, you could just go into a Tum during your turn, and then push through and summon your little Seahorse, if you want. So that's cool. So I would run Seahorse at like 1, but that's pretty cool. Now, another cute thing, since you are going to play the Hieratic Seal, another crazy card you can play is the Crazy Beast. So with this card, you could, with 2 Bestials, you could just out the whole, what's it called board? The whole Ryziel board. You can go into Crazy Beast, and then you can go into Zeus after that if you want to as well. So I think that's really good utility. I like how the Bestials can combo extend, as well as help you play through certain things, right? So that's pretty cool. Now, another thing that you could do, and I spoke about this card before, and it won me regional. And I know a lot of you guys are not gonna, maybe you haven't watched up to this part, but if you have, I think this is gonna be probably the most important tip I can give you about Blue Eyes, because I'm gonna be playing the deck myself, and I want to do well with the deck. I just don't agree with what everyone else is saying, and I think they're giving you a list that has way too many weird cards and a lot of non-engine, right? So you're playing like what? You're playing your 3 Ashes, right? You have 3 Ashes in your deck. You're playing your 3 Veilers, of course, right? You could search it. You're playing Nib, right? You're probably playing Nib. And then what? 3 Imperm? Oh, you're playing 3 Imprim. Okay, okay, okay. And then what? You're playing Bystials? You're playing like, what? You're going to play your Magnamuts, your one Druid Swarm? That's what you're doing? Okay. So that's how many cards is that? 15 plus that's what? 20 cards plus the 5 to 6 weird cards in your deck, like your trap, like both your traps, the one that special summons Blue Eyes from the deck, Blue Eyes White Dragon that you're playing a 2 of, right? So it's what? It's over half your deck of just cards that don't do anything. Well, because they're hand traps, right? So, like I said, in my opinion, I think just Bystials are just the way to go. Just playing a lot, like a shit ton of Bystials. You could just draw a handful of Bystials. You know, interrupt your opponent. You have to learn where to use your Bystials. And then through your Bystials, you can get into Engine. So I think that's really cool. But the one card I really want to talk about, and if you've reached this point, I think it's an automatic 3 of, probably going to be the best card in Blue Eyes. I think people will pick up on it. And if you're watching this video, you're going to be the first one to play it and first one to know about it. And that is Spell Card Monster Reborn. This card has won me a regional before, has won me huge locals. I did a side event that I've done really, really well in. It was like 8 rounds. Goofy Gauntlet, if you guys know it. So this card is just absolutely phenomenal. So what are people complaining about Blue Eyes, right? Besides bricking, right? Besides brick eyes. The one thing they're concerned about is they're concerned about Bystials. So Spellcard Monster Reborn can play through Bystials. So that's pretty cool. People are complaining on getting hand trapped on their normal summon, right? That could happen. This is a combo extender if you get hand trapped on your normal summon. You could open up Effect Veiler and this, and you could still combo. That's pretty cool. During your opponent's turn, you could use it as a hand trap. Oh, well, not a hand trap. You could use it as like disruption, right? You could basically reborn something from their graveyard. People play Eclipse Twins and Rizal, right, with their detonator. So once they go Eclipse Twins to reborn, you could just reborn their detonator. That's pretty cool. You could use it defensively, offensively. You could use it to extend. You could use it to play through Nib, which is crazy, right? You could reborn your synchros. Well, not the ones that you tag into, but you could reborn Lynx. You could reborn Blue Eyes White Dragon. You could reborn so many things. And of course, you know, your Maiden floats back after you reborn Blue Eyes, right? So keep in mind, a lot of people don't know this, that this card negates the monster effect the turn that you summon it, and it can attack. However, on the following turn, it gets its effects. So if you reborn a monster during the end phase, let's say on your opponent's turn, during your turn, it's going to have its effects. So I think that's crazy. I think that's like kind of like it's a little crazy. So if you reborn Detonator, let's say, or, I mean, I guess you don't care about Detonator getting its effect, but there are a lot of cards that you could reborn, and then during your turn, they're going to have its effect. So this card lets you play through Bystials, lets you play through Nib, lets you play through a hand trap on your normal summon, and it could also be used offensively, right, to stop your opponent's graveyard, like hit cards in their graveyard. It's also insane in the mirror match. If you're playing in the mirror and you have 3 spell card Monster Reborn, this card will be crazy for you, right? So that's really good. That's one thing I really wanted to talk about, and the Bystial approach, which I really wanted to talk about. Now, again, in my opinion, I think it's just not worth it to play all those crazy cards in the extra deck, the Crimson and the tagging out and this and that. It's good. It's broken. If it resolves, you might win, maybe, but you could also like you could play into Talents and then lose, right? Or something like that. The other thing that I wanted to note is that Phantasme. I think Phantasme would be really good. If you're playing a lot of Bystials, again, like I said, the deck inherently plays a lot of weird cards. So Phantasme could help you fix some of those hands, as well as put up protection from when you start playing. It's also a level 7, which could come up. Maybe you play a level 8 Synchro. But it's also a dragon, so that's good. It works well with the Bystials, and it works really well with your Baldrake, right? So that could be really good. You can open up Phantasme, Baldrake, and that can be really, really good. Of course, fixing your hand is probably the most important thing. Now, I think Ghost Ogre is another really good card you can play. I think it's going to be really good in the mirror, really good against Ryziel. Malice is a bit tough. However, I have a little bit of a plan against it. You could play, like I'm saying, you're playing a lot of Bystials. So during post-siding, let's say you lost game 1 and you're going first game 2, you can play 2 Regained, right? And you kind of want to see Regained. and then play with like Bestials Regained. And even though they doesn't sound like correct, you know, you're gonna put in your Lancias and you're gonna set up the board that's pretty good against Malice. So those are some few tips and tricks and kind of like the way I'm thinking about the deck. I'm trying to reduce the weird cards. I know that like you could play pure Blue Eyes with, you know, what Team Samurai is posting, and it's good. I think it's a good deck, but I just don't think it has that umph to like really get you there and help you win a big tournament that consists of a lot of great players, if you get what I'm saying. So that's pretty much it. That's it for this Blue Eyes video. I haven't posted a video in a while, but I will be posting more videos about Blue Eyes and the way I'm running the deck and the way I'm trying to think about it. I have a lot of things up my sleeve, a lot of things that I'm not talking about yet, but those are a few things, the few insights, and stay tuned for more Blue Eyes videos.